Hey everybody, this is Todd, host and creator of the Todd Napper Talk Show. I want to take just a quick moment to introduce you to the video that you're about to see. The video that you're about to see is a interview that I had with my grandparents. A few months ago I realized that I really didn't know a whole lot about their stories and how they met and how they got introduced to church and all of those different things, and so I reached out to them and asked them if they would be willing to sit down with me while I videoed them to kind of tell me their stories and talk to me a little bit about themselves and about our history and about our heritage. And I tell you, man, I had an awesome time videoing this interview. This is one of my first interviews I've ever done, so please pardon some of my ignorance in some of the different areas. But I had a great time doing this, and I'm going to be splitting the videos up into different parts, so I hope you get to see all of them. I know I think you're really gonna love it. So without further ado, my exclusive interview with James and Linda Pixler, aka Granny and Pawpaw. Thank you. So, first off, like I said with Pawpaw, I want to thank y'all both for doing this. Main reason for doing this is to kind of get your story in. You don't have to look at the camera or anything like that either. So.
Oh, okay.
No, it should just forget that's even there.
Okay.
So basically, like I told Paul, the main reason why I want to do this is to make sure that everybody gets the stories and we get to keep it for a lifetime, and pass it on to your great grandchildren, and even some grandchildren and stuff too as well. So, first we'll start with you, and the main thing is I kind of want to know our history, and as far as on your side of the family, how long did you grow up in church? What is your earliest memory of church?
My earliest memory of church, I was probably around 6 years old at my uncle's church in Madison. It was my dad's, my uncle, his name was Leonard Brown. It was my dad's, one of his sisters' husband. Okay, my mother was not raised in Pentecost at all. And I don't know how old my dad was when he actually met my uncle. We called him Uncle Brownie. He actually met him, and he's the one that taught him and led him into. Daddy played in the old Rush Arbors. He played the guitar and sang, and so did my mom's dad, even though they didn't go to church. But anyway, Daddy played and sang, and I think that may be where he might have met Mama there, I'm not sure. But anyway, my uncle, before he started his church, started going to a Brother Graves church in Denison. And my dad started going there with my uncle. And there was a little problem there, so over trusting the Lord for healing and stuff. And so my uncle split from Brother Graves and started his own church in Denison. And that was my earliest remembrance of church, was I was around 6 years old. We moved from there and we came to Arlington. My next memory, whatever, would have been the Combs' church in Arlington. I was probably around, 8 or so, I guess, maybe when we started going there. We left there. My sister, oldest sister, was very good friends with their daughter, Glenda.
And that's Ginger, right?
No, Della.
Della.
That'd be Della.
Oh,
That'd
okay.
be Della.
Yeah, Ginger was
Yeah, that'd be Della. Yeah, her and Glenda were real good friends. Della played the piano and stuff, and then we went from there. We moved over to Fort Worth and started going to Brother Johnson's church. Okay, I must have been maybe 10, I guess, because Della was 13 when we came to Brother Johnson's church, and she became the church pianist. Mr. Blackstock was before that, and she gladly turned over to Della. And so I was probably about 10. And I became very good friends with Sandy Johnson. stayed there until I married when I was 19 years old. And then we started having Abby out. We were probably there about 7 years. Back to Brother Johnson's until the year 1980. When we actually started the church on Johnson White. So
And that's
I guess you
gonna
could
be-
basically say I was raised in church from about age 6 on.
Okay. And at what age did you actually receive orders?
Actually, I was about 13. I was praying one night, and when I got through praying, we were all at the front of Brother Johnson's church, and I just actually, when the power of God hit me, I danced all the way across the front of the church and all the way back. But when I got through praying, they all looked at me because they just knew I got the Holy Ghost, and they said, I said no.
Really?
That's what I told them. I said no. But then not long, because we had prayer rooms on it. It was a small, it was called Twin Oaks Gospel Mission. And it was just a small church. And on the inside, at the platform, on each side was rooms. And on the right side was the ladies' prayer room. So one night I was in there praying because the girls would always go to the prayer room. And so I was praying, and I knew then that I would get the Holy Ghost.
Okay.
And so, but being a kid, which was no excuse, we kind of got this in and out, in and out, in and out kind of a thing. Right? We shouldn't have done, but we did. And I remember Brother Johnson one night called me up to the front. He said, "Is I hear that you're out of church?" Of course, we got this out of church thing.
Even though you're still sitting on the pew.
Yeah, and never really did anything. We might sneak and listen to a worldly song.
Right.
That's about the extent of what we did. But anyway, he thought, "You're not out of church." "Yeah, I'm out of church." You know? It's almost like a kind of a proud thing. "Oh, yeah, I'm out of church," and doing nothing without church. Anyway, he said, "No, you're not out of church." He said, "Don't be saying that." So anyway, I remember Brother Huffines one night. Me and Sandy were sitting together, and we had these compacts. They had like hard powder in them and a little mirror. So we had fuel chemicals on our face. So we were sitting there, and we were just putting it on our face. And the Huffines walked by us. He said, "What are you girls doing?" We said, "Oh, the only reason we're doing this is because we have pimples." And I'll never forget the answer he gave us, which we put them things up and never did it again, until later probably. But anyway, he said, "Well, I guess if that's really why you're doing it." And so he walked off. We like, oh my goodness, he could have slapped us and wouldn't have got us any worse. But he said, "Well, I guess if that's really why you're doing it."
Right.
And so, like I say, we put them things up, and we probably used them again, but we didn't right then. But anyway, like I say, then when I got married, I actually was not in church.
Okay, so that's where I was confused because
Yeah.
I actually thought that, and that I talked to other people about that, and I thought that you were in church, but he was not.
Yeah. No.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
So that's something new that I didn't know.
Yeah, I was not. And so we married, and of course moved to this for my marriage story. But anyway,
Well, we'll get to that part in a second, I guess.
Okay.